also talked to several residents during the recording, and it was an adventure rich in knowledge and contribution. Dude, I don't see how this was respectful. What? Like, come on, dude, how is that respectful? But as the controversy continued to grow, Tom decided to reach out directly to one of the main accounts that had been bringing visibility to the video. So he sent this long message explaining his side of the story, in which he insisted he always respected Japan and its rules, that all filming was done in public, authorized areas, and that he avoided forbidden zones, talking to locals, and emphasized that he never disrespected anyone in the country. Because of the sensitive situation, any videos filmed in Fukushima's disaster zones are bound to stir up controversies, especially if they look like someone ignored safety rules, trespassed, or disrespected people affected. On top of that, with the whole trend of IRL streamers pulling antics in various Asian countries, which, we've been covering very extensively here on this channel, it's understandable why so many locals are now extra cautious and defensive about this kind of content. In Japan, trespassing is considered a criminal offense, but only Japanese authorities have the power to actually take action against it. Since Tom is currently outside of the country and doesn't appear to have any plans of returning to Japan right now, the odds of him getting any legal repercussions are extremely low. Because for Japan to even do anything about it now, they would have to involve Interpol and similar organizations like that. But those kind of measures would be like, they just basically don't happen, especially for non-violent trespassing. So realistically right now, Tom isn't risking any legal repercussions from this video. The only time legal issues could arise is if he decides to return to Japan in the future. In that case, immigration officials could potentially detain him, temporary or refuse entry while they investigate the Fukushima incident. And as the police themselves acknowledge, there is some legal ambiguity here. The house is clearly abandoned. The roof has collapsed, and the owner apparently only comes back once a month to clean up, but has no plans to return permanently. I still think that's trespassing because it's not his property and he's farming someone else's property for content. Then layer that on top of it being a disaster zone, a tragedy happened there. I don't know. The whole situation is just extremely distasteful in my eyes. So, it's safe to say that Tom's Fukushima video will probably remain the most controversial piece of content from his entire Asia tour. But whether it actually changes anything about foreign creators' approach to filming in sensitive locations in Japan, that's an entirely different question. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change too much because, we've had so many other morons go to Japan do a bunch of stupid stuff, and it's still happening. So, people aren't learning from each other. But I guess that's just our reality right now. So hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
That's not what destroys men. It's not adversity that destroys men. It's comfort and flattery that destroys men.
I was just thinking of something that happened recently.
Right? That's what happened to King David. It's what happens to them all.
Yeah.
They're so great. You can never go wrong.
I just feel like we have I don't feel like we have an abundance of affection from women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in terms of where the pendulum is at, I feel like the women are very unloving to the men.
Damn.
That's why, they don't cook. Because that's, the best way to express a love for a man. I said this on my show the other night. I'm like, the most beautiful words a woman could say is I made you dinner, I made you cookies. Because that is like an act of love.
Oh,
and
man.
I think that, speaking as maybe from a different generation, the way that men feel now.
No, I will tell you this, right, is that I don't know if I should share this story. I'm going to just share this story. So anyway, there was this one girl that I was talking to, and she was from another country. It was an Asian country. And she said that if she came to America, that she'd cook me steaks every day. And I thought she was lying. And then she actually, she would show me, that she'd cook stuff every single day. Now, obviously, this never worked out. Nothing happened. But, of course. Can you believe that? I was just like, wait, what the fuck? Is this real? No, this was another one. And you guys don't know about this one. And so this is, a normal person, right? And I was like, wait, is this, there's no way this is a legit thing, right? Because I didn't believe that. The quickest been a man's hardest through his stomach? I don't know, whenever, I just like eating out. So I usually just take them out to eat. Where do you want to go? The only problem is, if they want to go to some nasty-ass fucking shithole that sells, sushi or something stupid like that. That's the only thing that sucks. Yeah, like eating out. Yeah, exactly. I like going to restaurants. Like fucking go like I don't know, like Golden Corral, right? Fucking I don't know, like a KFC,
Like
Texas Roadhouse.
You know, women are not really providing too
Trying
much.
sushi. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking no.
They expect so much from the men. They want the man to be rich and provide.
Yeah.
They want the man to be fit and a real leader and a real man. They also want to split the chores with the man. They want the man to do half the laundry and half the dishes and things like that. And it's like, so what do you do all day? You're on TikTok, you're like doom scrolling and eating Cheetos? Like what actually are you providing in the relationship? So
Oh, man.
I just feel like in terms of the deficit, it's like women
See, we gotta get those robot waifus real quick.
are very
We gotta get this locked in.
emboldened. They're too, I think, assertive, always giving their opinions, always critiquing, always, you know, I think that they're very bold right now, and I think, and sarcastic.
Yeah, there was one that she told me, that she says, I'm like, you know, whenever we go out, you don't really talk at all. And she's like, well, whenever I'm out on a date with a man, I just, you know, I figure he doesn't really want to talk to me, and I'll just wait until I'm spoken to talk. And I'm like, wow. Like what? Wait, what? Like, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Stick. I think that's a
Yeah.
reason why they're not.
That's a
very attractive.
slave?
And all I would say is that
Is that easy?
all of that goes away. There's no arguing about who does what. People fall seamlessly into the roles they were born into. They acknowledge those, they're not insecure about it at all. They express love in a whole bunch of different ways by serving each other. It's like super easy. And all of that, obnoxious, entitled, you don't make enough money, all that crap just disappears. Anyway.
I think he's probably right about that. I mean, you've got to have somebody that's a teammate, not a fangirl, right? I think that's definitely it. Absolutely, for sure. And this is the old one. Dr. Cross says pornography is not just advertising homosexuality, it's making people gay and trans. I want to keep this in mind. We still have 3 more years of this shit until the next election. And then after that election, 4 more years of that shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole lot. We already have a king? Yeah, but maybe there might be an uprising against the king in 2028, right? And so we might have to defend the king, obviously, right? Right, guys?
And so something that is almost never talked about is that this is a generation that's totally sexually dysfunctional, I think, because of pornography. And some people are able to cope with it. Some people don't have a problem. But I think a lot of people, and maybe a small minority, have a serious problem with it. And the problem,
people sexually dysfunctional.
I think that it's impossible for a real woman to compete with the availability and the novelty of pornography. A real woman...
2D is greater than 3D. I've heard this before.
You know, like, without getting graphic, she's only one person, and, you know, maybe she wants to do something sexual, maybe she doesn't. Porn is, you could have 100 different women in one sitting, doing anything, that whatever niche or idiosyncratic thing a person might be into, it's there.
Yeah.
And so I think that...
And they can have cat ears. True.
Novelty combined with that availability, it makes it so that...
Man.
You know, when you think about courting a woman, juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Jeez.
And so there's like also a problem of like erectile dysfunction. People that can't enjoy regular sex because it does not compare to the intensity, the novelty, and the availability of porn. It's
Man, that is crazy. Remember what I was telling you guys? I wasn't joking, but y'all thought I was joking about people that could only be attracted to animals that don't exist. Remember whenever I would say that all the time, and everybody would be laughing? There's not as many people laughing anymore, are there? There's more people agreeing.
Hyper stimulation. And so I think that's sabotaging a lot of normal sexual relationships.
Seems like you're making a lot of people gay, too.
Yeah, and trans.
You think that's true?
100%.
What is that?
I think that the novelty is a huge part of that. I think that if you are somebody that uses pornography multiple times per day, which many people do,
Actually, so you get bored of like one thing and then you want to do something else, or maybe, I don't know.
oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Who?
Actually?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of jerking off.
It's a huge problem.
This might be one of the best videos. I gotta tell you guys. This might be one of those top 10s. Whoa!
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're doing that multiple times a day, every day, for years, since you're a kid,
Yeah.
well, eventually you
the only cool thing
get
that
bored.
Yeah.
And you want to move on to something more extreme.
Yeah.
And you're kind of, it operates, I think, similar
Let me guess, psychopaths killing animals and killing people?
to like a drug. You
Oh.
kind of have the same kind of resistance to it
Yeah.
that you would to a drug, or tolerance for it. And you're always chasing that initial feeling the first time you used it, or the first time you saw a certain thing.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you just chase more taboo, more transgressive.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some people are more prone to that than other people,
Yes.
going in this really
No,
extreme
this
direction.
is how Charlie Sheen got AIDS. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Through just being jaded and looking for something more transgressive. That's just a fact.
And there's something too about what it does when you look at it. Because people don't realize that it is a fundamentally different experience being involved in intercourse versus watching other people have intercourse.
I hear
and I
that.
think that actually does something to
I'm
you.
not sure, but I
Tony,
hear
what do you
that.
mean?
I think that, for example, I think Steve Saylor has written about this, that there's multiple kinds of transsexuals. And he says that one kind of transsexual is somebody that likes the idea of seeing themselves as a woman, is autogynephilia.
Yes.
And I think that, one of the theories for that is you watch a man having sex with a woman that isn't you so much, you kind of achieve an identity with the woman in like a weird, sick way. You almost identify with the woman.
Oh,
So
shit.
there's weird things that happen when you're
Yes.
watching that and having such strong emotional and
I haven't had that happen yet.
sexual experiences with it.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet, bro. Like, yeah, that's. I mean, maybe, right? I mean, I don't know. That's some Freudian logic. I mean, there's, I'm sure there's logic attached to it for sure. But, man, that is just. Already has 8.8 million views with 69K likes. Oh my god. Man. Wow. That is insane.
Alright, do you know or can you tell me what this is?
This is one of the nightclubs that Fulia went to. It's a picture on her phone.
I don't know the objection at this point. There's no legal basis. It's just an objection for speaking.
Is it relevant?
It was elicited in front of the jury.
I'm going to sustain
Come
it.
sidebar.
No, no.
I can't argue. Yeah, come sidebar.
Mr. McClymont, please stop. It's improper. And there's no, we don't need to sidebar it. If the witness was permitted to testify something, that makes it relevant and admissible.
I'm not arguing that, Judge. I just want to talk to her about what he testified to.
Listen, I've sustained the objection. Ask your next question.
Day 5 of the Fulia murder trial had a bizarre ending. The state shows incriminating pictures on Alicia's phone. Her lawyers asked to show her entire interview with the police after she was arrested, and the state's like, yo, you don't want to do that because the detective is saying that she's going to go to prison for life, and it's a very bizarre ending. Stick around and subscribe. Let's go. She got on a turtleneck today.
Did you have occasion during that time period to work on guns such as the Glock, manufactured pistol, and AR platform weapons?
I've worked with those firearms before, yes. Well, I'm from here in Tampa. I work in firearms for
I'm
Jacksonville.
sorry, here in Tampa.
Yeah, the Jacksonville has a firearms section as well. That is a cartridge case that I received.
Has it been fired?
It has, yes.
How do you know that?
There is a firing impression and other marks on it to indicate that it has been fired.
Where there was a label discrepancy, like we talked about earlier.
There was, yes.
How did you remedy that?
It was remedied by reaching out to the agency indicating that their labels did not match the information provided on the box and what was in the box. The items were returned to the officer to remedy the situation and fix their labeling. So you'll see in there's areas that kind of look like it dips down a little bit. In the kind of the thinner area that looks different, that will be called the land, and that's part of the rifling. And then the part that looks a little bit more raised and larger would be the groove, which is the other part, an area of the rifling.
Dude, with technology nowadays, if you kill someone or do multiple shootings, you should just get rid of the gun. Each shooting, you should have a new gun. Probably shouldn't give out this advice. That is not real advice. That is hypothetical. You should anyone watching. That is not me recommending anyone go kill someone.
I concluded that it was eliminated from the item 9 firearm due to a difference in class characteristics.
What class characteristics are you looking at?
So in this instance, the difference in the skin widths, so that raised portion that we saw on that one, that width was different between the item 1 fire bullet jacket and the rifle in that firearm.
I mean, they know exactly which guns fired which bullets.
It was identified to the item 2.9 cartridge case submitted in FDLE case number 20240404099.
So just a lot of cartridge casing analysis. That's all this is for the first 3 hours of trial today. All right, let's see what defense lawyers do with this lady.
So you would be the person to ask about whether there was any DNA or fingerprints on any of these weapons or cartridges or anything like that?
No, sir.
Are there somebody else in your department or in your office?
Yeah, there's other sections that would do whether DNA or fingerprints was present.
So you're just trying to determine whether the evidence that you recovered, that was given to you, that was submitted to you, actually matches some of the evidence that really worked.
Yes, I'm just trying to determine if these cartridge cases came from the same firearm and or the submitted firearm or not, and same for projectiles.
And you were able to determine, I guess what you were testifying to, you were able to determine that these two firearms, these rifles here, that these two rifles that were found in Sean Gaffrey's house, they were used in some other October 7th, 2023?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
These two rifles, what are they connected to?
So, I concluded that, sorry, I don't remember if I called it.
There's another objection to the question is raised, what are they connected to?
I'm going to sustain the objection, rephrase.
What are they connected to? What shooting are they connected to? Is the right question.
What is the purpose of these, of showing these rifles to the jury? What is the purpose of showing why the safety on this firearm? Why are showing these rifles? I don't know what the objection is at this point. There's no legal basis. It's just an objection.
Objection speaking. It's irrelevant and improper question.
It was elicited in front of the jury.
If I allow the witness to testify, then that makes it relevant and material.
Okay. And if it's relevant, then I'll object to cross-examine.
I'm going to sustain the...
Can we come sidebar?
No, no.
So I can't argue. I can't go sidebar.
Mr. McClymont, please stop. It's improper.
Ask from sidebar.
And the answer is no, we don't need to sidebar it. If the witness was permitted to testify something, that makes it relevant and admissible.
I'm not arguing, but I just want to talk about what you testified to.
Listen, I sustain the objection. Ask your next question.
So he's getting a little frustrated here because he feels like he can't get the answers he wants, but I feel like it could have been a better question. He could have worded it better. Why are we getting flashbangs? So basically what the gist of it is, the ARs found in Sean Gaithwaite's house are linked to the shooting of Julio when he got shot in the foot 2 years prior. Where did he know that? Sean Gaithwaite is cooked. The shooters are cooked. They're linked to everything. On video, the weapons are linked, the cars are linked, they're cooked. It's whether or not she intentionally killed Julio is the question here.
Don't know which case you're referring to. I have many reports.
June 23rd shooting. In this case, right? Are these rifles connected to the shooting? In this case,
Rephrase your question.
were these rifles used in the shooting?
So I determined that the projectiles I received, items 1 and 4 in this case, were inconclusive to the item 8 rifle, which is the 5.56 rifle, meaning I didn't have enough detail to say whether or not it was ID to that firearm or not.
I think he's trying to point out this is for a case that she's not involved in, pretty much. She's only charged with the Julio murder, not the case from prior. Good point for this defense lawyer to do first time.
One rifle.
Correct.
Now what about the other rifle?
For that rifle, I was able to ID it to a projectile in one of my cross-reference cases.
But not in this case.
No.
So he's saying this is all irrelevant and you're just trying to make her look bad type shit.
You didn't have enough evidence to make that determination, correct?
Yeah, based on the evidence I received, I had the 2 bullets that were inclusive to the 1 rifle, and the 2 no value items, and then the 1 item was eliminated based on class difference, but that's all the evidence I received in this case.
The one item, one rifle was eliminated.
The item 1 fired bullet jacket was eliminated to the item 9 rifle.
The blackout, the blackout.
That's correct.
As to the other rifle, the 2 jacketed projectiles you had, you did not have enough, but all of the class characteristics met up, correct? I can rephrase. Did all the class characteristics line up?
Yes, the class characteristics were the same between the items 1, 4, and that rifle.
So you can't say if it was used or not.
Correct.
It's possible it was.
That is a possibility.
Overall
So the lawyers are playing chess right now. Now the prosecutor's getting out that firearm could have been used, but she just doesn't know. It's basically like inconclusive. Defense is objecting, saying the prosecutor is now testifying. I may say the judge overrules pretty much every defense objection. It's very rare I've heard us state one.
I am currently assigned to the cybercrime unit.
And how long have you been in cybercrime unit?
Since 2016.
In that time, tell me what some of your day-to-day duties are.
So when I originally started in the cybercrime unit, it was more focused on internet crimes against children, which is a task force, and then that evolved into digital forensics to help assist those cases, and eventually the cybercrime unit now includes digital forensics and internet crimes against children. So my responsibility is probably 50-50 on both now.
So I think this is the detective that analyzed her phone, all the data on the phone, all the pictures and shit. She's already seen these. It's just her asking if they can book an Airbnb. This person that they had a connection to apparently gives 50% off Airbnbs. I don't know what that means. How's that a thing? Says, hey, what dates do you need? Tomorrow, what day do you have available? Transfers. $30 and $15 transferred before the murders.
Still, the data that comes in.
Oh, and Cash App.
It's just showing that it came from Cash App.
Oh my god. They're exposing her password list or her iCloud account, bro, or her Notes app. This shit already public, bro, so I'm not doing any damage here. It's already cooked.
And was depicted in the extraction report.
Yes. Yeah, it shows that the message received was about a minute later. And it just says, switch and bring your hard-headed cell phone.
Who's texting her, bring her hard-headed cell phone? Is that Isaiah? My new number, save it, hashtag Alicia.
How do I know this is you?
Oh my god, she sends a selfie, that's funny. I've actually had this same situation when I've gotten a new phone because in 2018, my Instagram was hacked and my number, like everything was hacked. My emails were hacked, so I had to get whole new everything type shit and wait to get back emails and Instagrams and shit. And I had to like prove to people it was me because they were like, I don't think this is you, this is the hacker. So who's she beefing with in this group chat? Bitch, you a sicko. Why you blocking me over a call I didn't even initiate, trying to act like you mad and I make people uncomfortable. I didn't do shit to make nobody feel comfortable. I think she means say uncomfortable, but she keeps saying comfortable. It was out of the fucking blue. Why the fuck are you acting like this? It's my problem. You're trying to have a reason to talk to them, ugly bitches. You talk to everybody you come across. Not even mentally there and stable in the head for no relationship, even though I didn't do shit to your ass or sort of conversation, you're still fucking mad the fuck. So is this her and Isaiah arguing?
Return on iCloud, so data from that.
Yes.
And would that have been from that Alicia Andrews post at Yahoo? All right. Now, what is it that we're looking at?
This is just text messages or messages that the action tool had pulled from that iCloud extraction.
Is it possible that this isn't the entirety of all the messages that go back and forth?
Yes.
Are you able to select some messages, like dates or timestamps, anything like that?
Yeah, you can filter within the tool to only certain messages, and then sometimes only certain messages are backed up. So you don't always get the whole conversation, or you can filter it down to just portions yourself.
So this is like 6 days before the murder and they're arguing? This has to be to Isaiah, right? Oh my god. She says, they didn't show us the message, but look at the very bottom. And you act like I'm not pregnant. You don't talk to me one day, so I don't give a fuck about your little... Keep in mind, she did all this while being pregnant. Talk about throwing your life away and the opportunity of not being a mother to your child. This is a video file.
The image that we see here isn't actually an image, it's a video file, but the action tool...
Did she screenshot her maps leaving from Jacksonville to Tampa to track down someone to kill them? I mean, are these people random? I think that's what this is. What is fucking burger? Ain't no way it's a real business. It's real, boys. Fucking burger in Tampa. They got some decent. They got 3 stars though.
Are you able to see that record one of 75, 6?
Yes.
All right. And do you know, or can you tell me what this is?
It's a picture, but I don't know who it is or where it came from.
This is one of the nightclubs that Fulio went to. It's a picture on her phone. Is this a screenshot of the camera app? Why would she take a picture of this? Remember Fulio walked up the stairs to a nightclub with his boys when they were tracking him? This is very bad evidence. This girl screenshotted herself tracking someone, or at least Isaiah Chance did. Remember, he had her phone a lot.
As it relates to this particular account, is what was the account? Was the account following?
The device account was following the Julio, but Julio's account was not following back the user service.
Her Instagram account was following Fulio. I mean, none of this is surprising, but it just gets worse and worse. I mean, she knows who Fulio is, clearly, but showing old pictures of her and shit, this don't even look like her to me. When they first showed this last week, I didn't even know it was her.
Are you able to tell me about the date and time from which I Don't Like the Town Slinker was received to this iCloud?
April 10th of 2023 at 8:38 p.m.
I had a feeling they were talking about that town center where Young and Ace and all the 3 guys in the car got killed. Well, Young and 8 survived. I worded that weirdly. I think this is Isaiah Chance. He says 23 got killed in the town center. That's why I don't like out there.
23 got killed in the town center. That's why I don't like out there.
We still see the phone number that's provided for the person that's sending the messages to this iCloud.
Yes.
And we see the responses on the right from the person with this device.
Yes.
Be that in a large fashion from the same.
Wouldn't she be writing? I mean, she's writing all day. Is she doodling? I don't know. They're good at that too. This girl got this. I mean, what are you doing? The one thing you're not supposed to do in a relationship in your 20s is get a tattoo of the name. Like, they're not even together for a while, for years at least. Like, if they're together for years, I understand it. But, so there's a picture of her and Kay Shorty from 2021. Oh, you got sentenced to 12 years in prison for a gun charge?
Correct. I did not interview you. I did not interview anybody.
You only received the evidence from the lead detective and a request to do the digital examinations.
Correct.
I mean, this girl was hanging around these dudes, a bunch of different dudes, for years. Like, she know what's going on. She know what's popping. You're not on no vacation weekend trip with your boyfriend with 4 other dudes, and you're with your boyfriend. Like, it's just so dumb. This is Sean Gaithright and Rashad Murphy, I believe, because his nickname was Ghost, I think, talking on the phone 2 weeks before the murder. Rashad Murphy responds saying, "Make sure bruh in a good headspace before he go with his move. We got bigger shit to tend to." And while I'm crying, they're both blocking the shit. So they're talking about someone not being in the right headspace to go kill someone, is what I'm getting from this. And they want to make sure he's in the right headspace. This is one of the craziest text messages from Sean Gaithwright's phone after the murder. "I'm coming home, my thirst is quenched. I love you." Dash.
What the fuck?
Rotan, his thirst is quenched after shooting someone. But the person replied saying, "Fuck him and fuck you." Who are they texting? This is crazy. What? See what the defense lawyer does with this. Oh man.
iCloud, Sean Gathright. Or is the iCloud that belongs to Sean Gathright?
I can't believe you niggas just saying that.
Sean Gathright is going.
The iCloud username is a Rockout Sean username.
Yes.
So this is not a legal name, this is iCloud.
I don't know yet. I don't associated with anybody. I don't even tell you the names that are on the accounts.
Got it.
What is separating Alicia from this text?
You're not aware of the significance of this. Is that correct?
Correct.
Whose arm is that? Is that someone's arm that she like lied about not knowing or something? That's my guess why the state showed it.
Regardless, I don't know the relevance of the video file or the image itself.
I think this is the lead investigator.
Since February 6th of 2024.
Is that as a detective?
Yes.
Had you been a detective in another unit at the Tampa Police Department before coming to homicide?
Yes, prior to homicide, I was a District 1 adverse violent crimes detective. I was called to respond to the application by my supervisor as I was going to be the lead detective in the homicide that occurred there. The lead detective has the primary responsibility of gathering all the facts and conducting the investigation. So it's kind of like a team effort, but the lead detective would be the team captain, so to speak. Yes, I learned that the victim was a prominent rapper from Jacksonville and that he was associated with or a member of a gang called 6 Block, and that they had some rivals, ATK, NHG, and 1200, and that it was possible that some rivals had traveled down to Tampa and participated in this.
So a lot of what we already know, they're going over a lot of what we already know. Each detective gets to testify on what they did. So these motherfuckers were tracked on highways like morons, using license plates, we know all this. Like we already saw this chart from Jacksonville to Tampa to murder him.
The most important thing relevant to the case were there was a small cardboard box that contained approximately 8 or 9 rifle shell casings. They were spec casings. Those were submitted for ballistic analysis, and they were not even matched to a prior attempt on the victim Charles Jones' life from October 7th, 2023 in Jacksonville. And then in addition to those, there was an abundance of firearms materials, items that could be used as accessory on rifles. I believe there was also a Glock pistol and a bunch of ammunition as well.
You can see the car Folio then right here fly by, and then someone would sprint by that was shooting him. Can't tell which one it was. I think it was Rashad Murphy.
Yes, in the center there between the top of the van and the essentially there was all 3 figures come from the Apollo area, the Apollo line goes towards the front of the hotel. And this is the aftermath right now.
Question. Detective, what is going on at this point?
This is the Silver Cruise, westbound Apollo making a right on to the northbound spectrum and getting there on US target. At the bottom of the Homestead Suites, there's 3 green blocks. Those represent the 3 vehicles, the victim and his entourage, the Charger where it was parked, the Sonata behind it, and then the black Nissan Altima. The red arrows signify the path of travel for the suspect, black Altima. It comes in off of McKinley, makes an immediate right, drives to the north, the long way around, and ultimately ends up on the west side of the Homestead Suites. The blue signifies the path of travel of the suspect's Silver Cruise. It also comes in off of McKinley Drive. However, it does not take the same path of travel as the Impala. It drives along the south end of the Homestead Suites, makes a right, makes a U-turn, and it comes back out the same way it came in, passing the victim's 3 green blocks there twice.
These videos are bad because it's like literally tracking him to different locations in the Chevy Cruze, and she admitted to being in his car. This is very damning evidence.
Cruise, we see defendant Isaiah Chance exit the driver's side and co-defendant Alicia Andrews exit the front passenger seat, and they're now walking through the parking lot together.
And what is at the direction in which they are walking?
They are walking now southbound through the west side of the parking lot towards Council Street, towards where the front will be.
Later on in your investigation, did you determine whose cellular device he was manipulating?
Yes, that was Defendant Alicia Andrews.
Is that a device that he was just shown holding up to his ear or his face?
Yeah, he appears to be holding it up to his mouth area. The teaser's camera is arriving in the parking lot around the same time the victim was exiting out of the front door.
And at this point, had the silver Chevy Cruze already came and parked, went up to the area around the door, and then gone back into the vehicle and left?
Correct.
What's being seen in this angle?
This is another angle of that black Impala there at the top right, circling the parking lot and making its way back out onto the castle to the front of the store.
Here's the plaza that she took a picture of on her phone, or at least Isaiah Chance did when they were standing outside looking at this plaza going upstairs.
What's going on now?
The victim is starting a live stream on his Instagram.
And is that the Instagram video that we saw earlier?
Yes.
This black Impala seems to show up right at the perfect time each location.
Top center of the screen is actually that intersection where the Impala ultimately stops at the stop sign, but this is the victim's on track to go into the vehicles.
Can you get up and kind of point where that intersection is just so the jury knows where to look?
Sure. At some point in the top center.
I mean, this is really bad. On her phone, this picture. Look at this.
What is this a screenshot of?
So this is a screenshot of the camera pointing at the front of Troop 18, a two-story building with the lit up top portion there being the public.
In viewing the video footage from Troop 18 and the parking lot, did you see this gentleman in that coverage?
Yeah, I was able to align the video footage and saw where that gentleman was walking through the parking lot. Approximately the time of when this photo was captured.
Okay, and what was the approximate time of that?
It was in the time frame that Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance were there for a little bit after 4 a.m.
Point during your investigation, did you make contact with Alicia Andrews?
Yes.
When did you make contact with her?
In July. I can't recall exactly the 7th or the 9th.
And how long were you with her?
Approximately an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Is Alicia Andrews, is she present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please point to her and describe what she's wearing?
Yes, she's a young lady at this table here to my right wearing the brown sweater in the center there.
You're going to make the record reflect you've identified the defendant?
The record just so reflects.
The camera located at the Airbnb that the defendant stayed at.
You can't be any more dumb putting yourself on camera at your Airbnb where you're there to kill someone with all your co-conspirators.
Activations for this front door from Anthony Alava.
I did.
What's she laughing about? You better be cooked in prison for the rest of your life. Is she laughing in front of the jury?
On June 22nd of 2024, going into the early mornings of June 23rd of 2024, is there any other video footage of anyone captured on this front door ring camera?
No.
Based on your investigation, did you determine more than just Alicia Andrews, who's
Rephrase.
based on your investigation, did you determine how many people were at that Airbnb during the course of June 22nd of 2024 and June 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
How many people were there?
5 people.
Who were those 5 people?
The defendants in this case, Alicia Andrews and her co-defendants, Isaiah Chance, Sean Keith, Davion Murphy, and Rashad Murphy.
Is there no other activation of this front door other than the defendant, Alicia Andrews, entering into this Airbnb?
On the 22nd, no.
And do you ever see Davion Murphy enter into this front door?
No.
What about Rashad Murphy?
No.
On June 22nd of 2024?
No.
What about Sean Gathright?
No.
And that video that we just saw where we show a back door, how far do you have to walk around to get to that back door and through that gate?
It's approximately a 50 feet walk from the front door.
What do we see now?
Defendant Alicia Andrews walking out.
What's she carrying?
Bags?
Day before, did you see anyone load bags into this Airbnb?
No.
And it's quite obvious they went in the back door. For some reason, I mean, were they trying to avoid the ring camera on the first day, but then the second days they didn't avoid the ring camera? What was the point of going in the back door on the day of the murder, but not the days after?
Who do we see there?
Davion Murphy.
Davion's never even on this camera at all.
This is co-defendant Sean Keith, right? Coming back to the door and talking to someone, giving him the code to the door.
So now they're talking about her interview with law enforcement, with the detectives. Let's see what they say here.
If I'm hearing defense correctly, you want the information left in, the statements from Detective Ramos dealing with the potential penalty the defendant is facing to show what? So what is the context you're attempting to show?
So, what I want to show is what this detective is saying to Ms. Andrews and why he's responding the way she's responding. The conversation itself, the interview itself, if you cut out parts of it, you're going to misinterpret what she's saying, why she's saying it, and how she's saying it. There's points in time where the detectives are young, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not. To get her to do it. So when you start sending out pieces of what you're saying, and then you say, this is what Andrew said in the interrogation room, this is what I said, or he's lying about this, tell the truth about that.
Well, hold on, because just the only thing at this point the state wants to take out are the statements and representations the detective makes as to any potential sentence she's facing, correct?
Judge, there are additional things, correct, but mostly it is the references to life sentence, what happens to her, she's in prison.
Well, what else are you trying to cut out?
Judge, there is a series of statements by the law enforcement officer that specifically references the evidence in the case in a jury. There are points that I want to take out where they're basically saying you're going to be convicted, you're going to be found guilty. Judge, I don't know why they would want that in there.
Me either, but they do, so.
What are they doing? Why would the defense want that in there? I mean, I know they're trying to give the bigger picture and have all the context, but you want the detectives to be like, yo, you're going to be found guilty, you're fucked. You want them to see that in the interview?
And there are certain statements along those same lines where they're specifically talking about a jury and what the jury will find and what the jury will think, which I think is completely inappropriate statements to make to the jury. The jury's going to make what they want of the evidence on their own. They shouldn't be told by a detective what to think or what to make of the evidence.
If they do not want to protect the states and states that you made, again, it's not just about the state like this. There are several more states they got this on. They don't want to sit down and protect the state.
Okay, so state, why can this not be cured like with a limited instruction, similar to what is requested? Oftentimes when this comes up, it's because law enforcement will be confronting a defendant with other evidence, and there's an instruction that can be given that the jury is not to consider the opinions of law enforcement. So why can't that cure the problem?
Judge, normally is the defendant asking for that?
I know, we're not normal. Listen, I know. Listen, it's not your job, okay, to do their job. It's not their job to do your job. They say they want the whole thing in.
She's like, normally the defense is asking for an instruction. This is the exact opposite. They want everything in. Well, he just said, if we can't have it all in, we don't want none of it in. So he's trying to get none of it in, too.
If they want the whole thing in, why can't a limiting instruction not cure the problem?
Judge, because it's not relevant. What the detectives are saying is it's not appropriate for the jury to even consider what the potential sentence will be.
And can I tell the jury that?
Judge, it is several statements of the detective saying you're going your life away, you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. If we're talking murder one, you are going to be in for life. And then there are several more references to prison. He says things 30 to life that she's facing. There's even context where the detectives are saying that she could do life and all the other people in this case that really killed the person could get away with it. Like all of that, I think, is misleading to the jury and inappropriate for the jury to hear.
I don't know how you take all of that out in this moment. I think it's just fine. If the court says that it doesn't in a jury that are read for you, that jury is not considered a sentence or not that.
Well, I would give a limiting instruction at the time Detective Ramos testifies about the interview.
That's fine as well.
That's what I'm inclined to do.
Judge, if I could just brief on
Sure.
before you handle this, like, I'm pretty familiar with the case law on this. There's nothing wrong with the state of redacting the statement in your case of cheating. Bring a little completeness if we do that on reporting. If we redact the reporting, depending on the relevance and court's ruling on relevance. The defense may put your name on in your case of cheating. Normally, I think what this warden's trying to point out is it's normally the defendant trying to exclude portions of the statement, and that's not the case here. I realize that. But there's nothing to prevent us from chopping up this recording and putting in what we deem fit to put in as long as it's relevant. It needs to be relevant by the court. The defense then has an opportunity in their case of cheating for the remainder of the thing, which if it's also needed to be relevant by the court.
Well, does it, they have to wait for the defendant's case in chief? Can they ask pursuant to the rule of completeness that it be played in its entirety at the time it's admitted?
Right, and the way that works under at least the law that I reviewed, I just looked at this last year on a case that I was during the trial on, they can present that in their case in chief.
You guys need to get some case law. So I went to case law, okay? All right, fine, both of you do. So I guess tomorrow you need to bring two versions. One that's redacted, the way you want redacted. The second one that's not redacted. That's the whole thing. Right, which is what I just said. Yeah. The rule of completeness doesn't require the defendant have to put it on in their case in chief. It just requires that the interview or the statement has to be produced in its entirety when it's originally produced. Okay? So that is the law. Right, right. You're just affirming what I just ruled, which is great. Okay, so any other cases?
No,
Okay. So anyway, state, honestly, you need to come up with something. Okay?
Sounds like the judge is gonna make them put it all in. I don't know why the defense would want that. I mean, we might be watching the full interrogation of Alicia at some point. Hit subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Love you guys, peace.
Just in time to start working on their next big project, The Last of Us. Part 2. The whole world applauds. However, some fans remain skeptical. Did they even need to make a second game? Wasn't the ambiguous ending?
And so we don't want to come out and say, this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open. I know there's a lot of people that feel this trepidation about revisiting what that ending means. No one loves these characters more than we do, and we would not do this if we didn't feel like we had
the right idea.
Right off the bat, it's clear this is a Neil game. All of Neil's rejected ideas for the first game are back. The revenge plot, the switching between characters mechanic, and his idea to kill a main character from Uncharted 2. The extreme crunch is also...
So let me get this straight. So Baldy was keeping him in check. Baldy gets removed. This guy makes his own game the way he wants it to be, and everybody hates it.
Where are we going to get physics on these?
That explains a lot.
For next time? For next time?
Yes. They released a story trailer and gameplay demo, and the hype train is now at full speed. Wow! The visuals are stunning. Every square inch of the world is drenched in detail.
I see this in every single Unreal 5 game.
They did the looks so well.
Yeah, she looks really good.
Wow. This is they're making out with each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you in there. That's action. Like, seriously, that's really, really good attention to detail. And, oh god.
Nevertheless, even with just breadcrumbs, the online debates are already heating up.
There's starting to be these rumors about the game, false narratives, that the game has homophobic Christians, and that's who you fight. And then there's a series of like YouTubers and websites that just run with it.
Neil knows the creative choices aren't going to please everybody, but as long as no one inside spoils anything, he thinks the backlash will be manageable.
And I was able to dismiss it, and then the leaks happened. And then all of a sudden it's like, blood.
With only a couple months until the game's release, someone leaks the biggest spoiler in the game, Joel's death scene in full. Plus the fact that you play as his killer for around half of the game. The YouTube video gets taken down at around 1,000 views, but that's enough. Neil braces for impact.
Just want to say on behalf of everyone at Naughty Dog, a lot of you have sent us very sweet, encouraging messages along that time that have been really helpful to make this thing.
And that was the lowest point in my life.
If the leaks are true, this game can kiss my ass.
The destruction of several characters that people are very attached to, and like those voices jump.
Everybody's trying to be George R.R. Martin. People are trying to be that guy that kills the really important character. And it's like, you know, like to write the story where like Gandalf dies in like, you know, the Fellowship of the Ring or something. Like they're trying to do this, you know, like, and you know, you saw this happen, and it's not that nobody can do it. I mean, they did it with Expedition 33, no spoilers included, but they did it. And it's not that you can't do it, but there's a lot of people that try and do it, and they fucking fail.
On Joel dying and the fact that you played Joel's killer, and then the fact that they said that like Joel's killer is transgender.
Do you think that game could be spoiled by a couple screenshots? Really?
No matter what you've seen or heard?
After you hear them, you're not going to want to pick up this game.
Or read, nothing compares to playing this thing from beginning to end.
Jokes throughout production would say like the downfall of Naughty Dog. This is it. This is the downfall. This game is the downfall of Naughty Dog.
What? The game releases in June 2020, and within hours of the game's release, hundreds of negative reviews start flooding the game's page.
This is the kind of shit that really is confusing.
Hours of the game's release, hundreds of.
You look at this right here. This right here is the problem, and this is like this happened a few years ago, right? Like at this point, so like this is the reason why games journalism died. This right here. At the end of the day, what point does a review serve? What purpose does a review serve other than to inform the customer? And it is very obvious that for whatever reason, whether you agree with it or not, these professional reviews certainly did not represent the fucking customer.
Negative reviews start flooding the game's page.
Naughty Dog just went full The Last Jedi on this one.
Considering the game is supposed to be 20 to 30 hours long, the number of negative reviews raises some eyebrows. In response, some people even published research articles dedicated to proving it's a coordinated attack. Sony,
yeah, it was a coordinated attack, but it probably also was a coordinated benefit because a lot of journalists and people, they put a very high value on things like diversity and different types of like social dynamics that are being represented in video games or in media, but that type of value isn't really represented by the public. So how is it fair that they overvalue it, but it's unfair whenever the
players and the actual consumers undervalue it or anti-value it. That's the issue, and that's what's so confusing about this, is that it's very obvious that these people make it like, like the Dragon Age the Veilguard getting a 9 out of 10. There's no way it was a 9 out of 10 game. Like, nobody thinks that. Nobody believed that. And IGN gave it that rating. Same with, like, Black Myth Wukong having an 8 out of 10 because of some bullshit thing that, like, wasn't even true. It was based off a bad translation. And so the big issue is that I think, yeah, you're right that you have a lot of negative reviews that happen. But if somebody gives a negative review for a reason why you're not going to consume a product, it doesn't matter as much as a review, in my opinion, of like somebody who actually played it and knew for sure. But it does matter. Like, you absolutely should be able to discuss, this is why I chose not to play this game.
It's allegedly taken down hundreds of reviews.
Attacking gamers again, which, to the surprise, it's kind of funny, they'll delete the negative ones, right? But they won't delete the positive.
It's getting really salty that the game didn't go the way you wanted.
Metacritic also implements a 72-hour waiting period for future reviews. Attacks are coming at Neil from all sides, but rather than letting it pass over, Neil goes full offense.
And I will say, at the end of the day, to all our critics, we listen to that stuff and we digest a lot of it, but you're way less important. And some of you are not important at all when you're kind of shout and threaten and doing all that stuff.
The problem is that the game sucked. Okay? If Kojima said this, everybody would be spamming base. The problem is not that you're acting this way. The problem is that you're acting this way after your game flopped. That's the issue.
Laughable. We said it to each other as jokes some of the time.
Look, I get it. You love these fictional characters, but they're not real. You do know that, right? Guys, don't be scared of therapy. Think of it like working out for your brain. But soon, bad reviews aren't the only thing on Neil's plate. Some of the more observant fans notice lies in the marketing, mainly that Joel is added in post to make it look like he's a bigger part of the game. They also make him look different.
I don't know why they would do that. Just have scenes in the trailer with Joel in them. That's not hard to do. They went out of their way to cut clips to make it look like Joel is involved in the scene.
Fans call it false advertising.
So they're trying to bait people in there by knowing this is the character they like the most, and then they're going to kill the character that they like the most, and then somehow this is gonna be what the fans want.
But Neil says he just didn't want to spoil the surprise.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of my favorite games. And I know some people hated it.
By the way, that's a completely justified reason. I don't mind that at all. For him to say that, that's totally okay.
I loved when I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and I saw those trailers. You were deceived, right? Because they moved boss battles around. You always saw Snake. They never showed you. Right? And I remember, like I'm playing a whole new character. This is awesome.
However, fans bring up an IGN article from 2018.
A great example with this too is that it's Expedition 33. Like it's a kind of a new game, so I'm not going to spoil it. But it's very obvious that I mean, I had no idea that was going to happen. I had no idea at all. And it's because of the way that it was advertised. And that was a good thing.
But Neil is saying Ellie will be the only playable character to make the situation worse. As the Game Awards approach, when The Last of Us Part 2 is nominated for Game of the Year, Neil tweets, "The Last of Us fans, activate. For every vote you cast for The Last of Us Part 2, a hater loses their caps lock."
Uh-oh.
Wasn't a good tweet. First of all,
it's crazy how this guy, heel versus babyface as, went on that pronouns rant about Starfield. And it's like, again, it's like one of those things where, like, it just gets, it's like an appreciating asset. Like, that rant becomes more relevant, and more people resonate with it every single year.
It's a very passive-aggressive tweet, particularly with his emoji at the end.
He apologizes, saying it was all a misunderstanding.
Stop defending Neil Cuckman. Well, no, I was just saying that I don't know, I'm just talking about just being fair, right? Like, I'm saying, oh yeah, that would make sense to me if you want to give people the impression this is what's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's bad to say that.
I want to come across as someone who dislikes criticism.
My tweet was meant as a joke, RE trolls.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're living in his head rent-free.
But none of his former fans buy it. Multiple YouTubers report receiving strikes from Neil over videos critical of the game or the leaks.
Not only did Naughty Dog strike down my YouTube
account along with so many others. They also are responsible for my Twitter account being taken down.
Where's the fucking receipts for something like that, you know?
2. Neil's ongoing battle with fans hasn't died down, and Naughty Dog hasn't announced any new games. Fans are getting impatient, but it gets worse. In 2022, they announced a $70 remake of The Last of Us Part 1. $70? For a remake of a $20 game that's already been remastered. Well, at least
they gotta have that money. Yep, they need that money.
It's coming to PC. Hopefully the port is okay. Oh boy, players booted up, and it's
wasn't that the Prime Minister of Canada?
After over an hour of waiting for it to build shaders, frame rate issues on the most high-end computers, textures not loading properly, and cutscenes where all the characters are wet.
If you plan on buying The Last of Us 1 remake,
Yo.
In fact, you don't even deserve to get a video.
Bro!
And quite frankly, I hope your hands cramp up.
After 2 years,
who is this guy?
Sales disappoint. Critics call it unnecessary, and the goodwill of Neil's haters all but evaporates.
Yeah, I remember when this came out.
egomaniac off of The Last of Us. I lost his sense of humility.
Fast forward a year, and things aren't looking much better. In terms of games, just rematches.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't like Neil Druckmann because he comes off as the most pretentious theater kid, like, trying to put on and project the image of being this, like, tormented, writer or, creative mind. It's like this guy's Vincent van Gogh, but the only thing that he did was stab himself in the chest. You know? Or cut off his ear.
But Neil feels good. He's been promoted to head of Naughty Dog, and HBO launches The Last of Us TV series. Before it's released, Neil announces major changes to the story, with no impact from Bruce Straley.
This is too hype. I cannot get over this.
Because you're fighting the infected with.
Ooh, I feel like SpongeBob going to work every day. What the freak? I'm the first person in here. Ooh, my own lobby.
But in the end, it's actually pretty good. In fact, HBO says it's one of their most popular shows.
What's up, other 3 people?
Somewhat of a
We're just gonna wait.
New fans start pouring in, game sales spike, and he finally feels like he has some people on his side. Until season 2.
It's crazy because that's exactly what happened with the game. It's almost like if you tell a story, like this is a big fantasy that a lot of people that are in media believe, is that the average modern audience cares less about these social issues and different types of dynamics than gamers do. But the reality is that in fact it's the opposite. Gamers and online people are much more accepting and open-minded of things like non-traditional gender roles, non-heteronormative relationships, like all the things that, people complain about woke stuff with. There's a lot of average Walmart Americans, and they just see that on the TV and say, oh, this is weird, oh shit, I didn't watch this game, okay, what's this? And they're done. They don't even think about it. Yeah, if you push it, right, they don't even, it's not like they're getting mad. They're not writing a whole thing about it. They're just like, oh, this is weird. I'm not going to watch this. And that's what an average person, I think, does a lot. And I think that what these people believe is that average people, because they think they're average, but they're not average. This is like a very unique viewpoint that they have. Average people are totally okay with this stuff, but they are absolutely not. Why people didn't like the second Ganon season has nothing to do with woke. It did in the game. People didn't like that Abby character because she had a non-female body, and they thought that it was a weird type of representation. And I think that definitely was a big reason why. I didn't even play the game, and I know that. I'm just saying, that is the reason. It goes beyond that. No. But what I'm saying is that you're right. You're right. Maybe it's not woke stuff, it's the story, is what you guys are saying. You're right about that. But I'm saying also, whenever you're talking about putting these ideas out to the public dislikes them more than you'd imagine.
It turns out fans of the show who haven't played the games have no idea what's in store.
Yeah.
What's it called? I
don't know what to do right now.
I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon.
And after Joel's big moment, public opinion shifts. IGN gives the episode their lowest rating in history.
The result is a competent, often thrilling hour of television, but one that ultimately underserves the larger story and the characters it forever changes.
Viewership starts to fall off, and the season finale sees a 55% drop from the first season.
You have to expect that some people will just switch off after that, and people have switched off in their drove. But not only that,
in December 2024, fans finally get a brief glimpse of something.
It just keeps getting worse.
Neil. This time Neil has an executive producer role, but that doesn't make it void of controversy.
Bro, I saw that Intergalactic, the heretic prophet, literally had more dislikes than Concord.
actress for not even... Doug's upcoming game Intergalactic Heretic Prophet mocked gamers by sharing pro-DEI fan art. These are games that definitely are anti.
I love how this happens, and like what's really funny is that the current reality is that this game is underwater, and they have to they apparently are telling people at the studio not to go on the internet and not to talk about it or think about it. And then this game, they totally changed the way that Siri looked from the original video. Or at least Siri looks, it's very hard to say whether they changed it or not, but Siri looks totally different than the way she did from the original video, and she is 100% hotter. So, like, this is literally an L and an L.
That gamer, these companies,
It'll get shadow dropped.
have to be boycotted.
But Neil says not to worry, that this next game is going to deal with a much less controversial subject matter.
Oh, we made a game with The Last of Us 2, we made certain creative decisions. That got us a lot of hate. So the joke is like, you know what, let's do something that people won't care as much about. Let's make a game about faith and religion.
Whether it's any good or not, we get funny, but it's clear Neil's not taking his foot off the brake anytime soon.
I can respect the guy that's got his ideas, you know, and he has his creative vision and he wants to do it. But at the same time, I don't really think this is going to go anywhere. And I feel like, honestly, with a lot of studios, there's a video, give it a like. I've never actually watched one of this guy's videos, Sir W. And yeah, his 89,000 subscribers. This is a good video. And it's funny for me to see this, but I do think that Neil Druckmann has become like the fucking, like he has become the spirit animal of every pretentious, annoying, woke, theater kid, pretend, tormented artist, writer that just makes shitty stories that people don't like. I feel like this is the guy, right? The anti-Kojima, yeah, because everybody wants to be Kojima, and like this is like our, you know how like, you know how like sometimes they have like a fucking store brand of something, like the Great Value. This is like our Great Value Kojima, and it's that. And I think also there's a lot of people that write great stories, and they just don't do like all the self-aggrandizement. You know, like Shadowbringer's story was written by a woman, apparently in Final Fantasy. People love that. You got the Expedition 33. People love that. So, like, the entire premise of this is bullshit. I'll be right back. Blizzard hasn't said anything about Classic Plus. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. It's almost like they've given up on WoW, like on Classic WoW.
So Classic Plus has been something really in discussion since Classic came out in 2019.
That's what people wanted, yeah.
World of Warcraft is an MMORPG after all. It's built in a way where it runs its course and under usual circumstances has to move into expansions and beyond. And for ourselves, we've done Vanilla multiple times, we've done TBC, about to be multiple times, we've done that, we did Cataclysm, and now somewhat unbelievably we're in Mists of Pandaria,
which is
Warlords
insane.
of Draenor of all things are looming ominously beyond that. There have been plenty alternative versions of Classic 2 from Season of Mastery and Discovery Hardcore, and of course Anniversary more recently. That is a whole lot of Classic WoW over the past 6 years and since it first re-released. But at the same time, we don't have anything permanent that players are able to go back to and call a home whenever.
This is one of the reasons that kind of keeps me away from playing Classic WoW in like a classic, like Season of Discovery, theoretically, is that I know that the servers and everything is just going to go poof one day. And because of that, it makes me less interested and less motivated to keep playing, because I feel like there's a transience to the game.
And that transience, like OSRS never wipes, exactly, right? And like resets and things like that remind me of live service games. I'm getting live service PTSD.
It won't. Today I want to talk about the state of Classic Plus at the moment, and to ask for one thing in particular. Whilst I'm well aware Classic Plus may be very far off into the future still, is there any information that Blizzard feel they can give us at this point in time to give us some kind of roadmap or teaser about their plans for this project in the future? Because at the moment we're reaching really a culmination of events in the World of Warcraft Classic space, which make the current silence on Classic Plus and the future of this project quite deafening. Let's talk about what's been going on recently and why it seems now that so many people are getting a bit impatient in the ever-growing Classic Plus waiting room. Let's start with a private server situation. It happened
I mean, there's a chance that because original WoW came out in November, maybe for the anniversary they're going to have news about like a new server or like what they're going to do. But in general, like what's happened is that you've had, Project Epoch, Ascension server. Like there's been a lot of other servers, and I don't think any of these servers, Turtle, WoW, I don't think any of them are really doing what I think that Blizzard should do with Classic Plus. But I think that at least they're trying. I don't support private servers, but I understand why people do them. You see Ampy quit after he beat Max on Hardcore without world buffs. Ampy quit.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably be back. I mean, he's a streamer, right?
And so, like, WoW streamers, like, he's known because he's a very popular WoW streamer. If you, like, he's going to quit WoW, okay, well, then what's he going to do? He's going to go play another game? You're not going to make any money. People aren't going to watch you. You're going to have to go back and play WoW. Like, I'm just being honest.
It's a month
maybe, right? Maybe, and good luck to him. It's a really hard transition. Most people fail. Yeah, good luck to him. I think at the beginning it will do well. How will things be in 3 months? Time will tell. But I do think that a lot of people that try to transition away from WoW end up going back because they lose their fan base.
Oh, and I'm sure you've seen content about that already. Some servers had cease and desist letters issued, some of them closed because of that. And for Turtle WoW specifically, things even go beyond that, with Blizzard pursuing legal action against them. I'd always assumed in part that Blizzard didn't go after private servers more regularly because basically this happens. And what I mean by this is a massive amount of news coverage and free advertisement for said server, whilst also making Blizzard look like the bad guy in this scenario.
Yep.
And I want to talk about the intent.
I think that Blizzard has every right, and I'm totally okay with them shutting down private servers. I am. I'm okay with it. They have to. There's no reason that they shouldn't.
Behind Blizzard going after these servers now, instead of focusing on the legal side of things here. From the legal side, honestly, we'll see what ends up happening, but you may be surprised to learn I am in fact not an expert on international copyright law. Private servers were one of the biggest reasons that Classic happened in the first place. There is no denying it. It was a proof of concept beyond reasonable doubt that there was a tremendous amount of people that were super invested in the idea of going back to how World of Warcraft started on day one. There was, of course, the question asked to Blizzard at that panel pre-Warlords of Draenor.
See, like, nowadays, like, we don't have this anymore. Like, this is a statue. It's in the Burning Steppes. And this is a statue of Anduin Lothar. And the sword is faced at Blackrock Mountain because he was a, obviously a warrior of the Alliance. And he fought against the orcs, trying to repel them after they came in through the Dark Portal. Nowadays, the game is about, I don't know, like being a furry, being friends with people, not knowing if like your mom likes you or not, and just in general being a weird bitch. Like the amount of masculinity that World of Warcraft used to have was just, like, you have to watch the Warlords of Draenor cinematic to really understand how far things have gone. You really cannot even begin to understand what we used to have. Gay furry magic? That's what people say.
You one. There was, of course, the question asked to Blizzard at that panel pre-Warlords of Draenor in 2013, and there was the infamous reply to it, "You think you do, but you don't," by J. Allen Brack.
He was right with a
Brack
lot of
also
people.
did the presentation for Classic's official release at BlizzCon 2017 as well. Bit of a twist of fate there. Plenty of vanilla servers have existed over the years, and especially they did back then, but one at that point in time grew far beyond the size of the others, and it was called Nostarius. They posted up some crazy stats upon their closure.
Do you remember, like, let me go all the way back. I'll see if I can pull this up. Nine years ago, I made a video about Nostarius. 9 fucking years ago.
With 150,000 active accounts, 3.2 million characters created, and a team of 30 people, which they say was just a bit smaller than Blizzard's original team, helping out to form the game. But they only got to the point of sending a cease and desist letter to them, threatening further legal action if they didn't follow those orders, and Nostarius would end up closing in 2016.
Yeah, they shut
Following
it
its
down.
closure, thousands of players were left without a home that they had enjoyed through this private server. And back then, that home
Holy
was
shit.
just plain old vanilla World of Warcraft. This was when the demand for Classic began to really ramp up, with a petition started by the Nostarius developers.
Oh, there's no fucking way. How does that even happen?
Do you remember Mark Kern goes in?
I put all those fucking bullets into him like that.
He would hand deliver the petition for Classic WoW to, at the
Because my
time, the
aim is
president
off.
of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime.
Where is...
And Mike Kern goes in with a fucking, not a forklift, like a hand truck, with every single fucking name. And he actually hand delivers it to Mike Morhaime. He actually did it.
On Dev, Mark Kern. As we now know, the petition ended up being successful, with about 280,000 people having signed it.
Wow.
Then, of course, eventually Classic WoW dropped in September of 2019, so quite some time later, really. The reason I'm going over this history lesson is because, as it often does, history is currently repeating itself. The big difference here is, for Turtle WoW specifically, they've got to a point where they're being properly sued by Blizzard, not just asked to stop what they're doing via a cease and desist letter, though for all we know...
This is another reason why I don't really have a lot of, excitement about a private server, is that, in the same way that I don't really get excited about a transient seasonal server that Blizzard makes, I think that also these private servers will be effectively transient whenever they get shut down. Do you remember the compromise Blizzard tried to make, the pristine route?
I'm so mad about everything that just happened right there.
Received the cease and desist, ignored it, and, well, that's got them to this point where we are now. Blizzard are also seeking to claim the content that's been included in their custom server as well, instead of it being deleted as outlined here. It says requiring defendants to deliver to Blizzard all copies of materials that infringe or violate any of Blizzard.
Well, maybe this is the solution. So Blizzard is going to have everybody from Turbo WoW just give them all their stuff, and then Blizzard can just come out and call Tortoise WoW. Call it Tortoise WoW, and just release it. Sure. Problem solved. Yeah, you owe us your homework. Legally.
Rights described herein, including all versions of
Turtle
Turtle
WoW?
WoW clients and any Turtle WoW.
That's called retail.
Others. The point is, it's a similar situation to what we have with Nostarius, where private servers were seeing growth as they were providing an experience that people felt as though Blizzard were not. And the fact that Blizzard are going after private servers that are pushing custom Classic content now, whilst they're apparently developing Classic Plus, really points to the fact that maybe, similar to Nostarius, some of these servers have gotten too large, and Blizzard feel as though they have to address them, otherwise they will be a real competitor to whatever Blizzard is actively working on. Now, we don't know what...
Sure, I mean, of course they're going to shut down a private server. I mean, of course. And if it's a small server and nobody plays it, then they're not going to, obviously the big ones are going to get shut down more often than the small ones. Oh my god, this is, yeah, of course, obviously.
the resolution of this legal battle will be. Yeah. But I think in any event it shows that Blizzard is indeed working on something and feels as though there are already competitors out there. However, unlike the Nostalrius and Classic situation where the goal was just always very obviously re-release Classic, here things are a bit more unclear. It's heavily implied that the next project will be Classic Plus from Blizzard's actions, from comments following Season of Discovery and from Blue Post, but we really just don't know for certain. And this uncertainty is in part why people are still seeking out alternatives to what Blizzard are currently offering, and I'm sure they will continue to do so.
Yeah, I think so. Why doesn't Blizzard just hire the people running the popular private servers? I think what they should do is they should look at a lot of the guys that have played Classic WoW for a really long time, and they should look at some of the devs for these private servers, and they should try to, they also should hire, because like you need a, I think you need a trifecta. You need a trifecta of people that, you need one group of people that just understand Classic WoW, like in and out, without like, you know, like they know everything, they know how much health every boss has, they know, you know, where every quest is, you know, they live and breathe Classic WoW. You need to have those like super fans that you can effectively engage and, you know, kind of judge things based off of, right? You gotta have those guys. Then you also have the guys that are running the private servers now that, you know, they've tried to float different ideas. They can show like what their insight is. And then you also need, of course, the expert developers and the designers that actually work at the company, right? And you need to have all three of these groups get together, and they need to come up with the game. Like you can't do it with any one of the three. You have to have all three of them. Because the thing is, if you just do it for like super hardcore Classic players, then they're only going to want, you know, more and more raids after Naxxramas, which is like, that's nice, but that doesn't really, you know, that's for like 1% of the population, right? You don't want to have it just be the Classic or the Plus players, because they don't necessarily understand the larger Blizzard player base. And you can't have it just be the designers because they don't understand Classic players necessarily. You have to have all these groups working in concert together in order to make a good product. And I think that OSRS has done a very good job threading the needle and adding in new content. And I think that really, if Blizzard wants to make, like, I think Classic WoW has a future that Retail WoW doesn't have. I don't think Retail WoW, like, Retail WoW has a future, but it doesn't have a future that is growing. It's basically just a managed decline. I think Retail WoW has been in managed decline for, like, the better part of 10 years. Realistically, it has been. I think that after Legion, that was pretty much the peak. Like, Legion was like, wow, it was them. Like, and that was it. And so, how do you add new content to Classic WoW? Well, you just program it into the game, right? It's pretty simple. And so, really, I mean, retail is always going to have its player base. It's the same as RuneScape 3 has its player base. It's the same as EVE Online has its player base. But I think that that player base will become, you know, like more narrow over time and also more specific over time, and that's fine. But I think Classic WoW is really the game that, you know, there's a reason why Classic WoW defined World of Warcraft as the MMORPG. That is the, in my opinion, I think Classic WoW is the best version of World of Warcraft, and nothing even comes remotely close. I have 50 reasons for that, and I have 100 videos talking about them. So I'm not going to get into it. What I am going to say is that Classic WoW, I think, in an ironic way, because it's the past, is the future of WoW. I think that modernizing, and you can see, really, look at Megabonk. The graphics don't matter. They never matter. It doesn't make a difference. It's the soul and what the feel that the game has. Old games have a feel. And I think that a lot of those games, that feel transcends fidelity, it transcends lighting, it transcends pixel count, resolution, aspect ratio, ray tracing. All of these things exist like in service of that feel. And Classic WoW nailed that. That's what they need to keep going with. That's what they need to keep doing. And so the problem really, I think that what happens is that they don't really know what their audience is.
And I know that might sound weird, but I don't think Blizzard knows what the target audience for Classic WoW is. That's a huge problem.
Well, no, and talk about something else which has happened in the Classic WoW space that's been causing a bit of drama. So not so long ago, China had their 20th anniversary for World of Warcraft. As part of that, they had a new type of server announced, Titan Forge servers. These would be a bunch of realms that would rotate their rates between Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath of the Lich King, with Wrath talents, updated itemization, and so on. And Blizzard did a presentation for this where they mentioned that these realms would be their main focus for the next year. Now, I think some people interpreted this as now Blizzard are committing to WoW in China and aren't even doing anything in the West at the moment.
What retard thinks that?
Well, beyond what we already have. But this was a presentation for WoW in China for Chinese audiences. Yes, it was done by representatives from Blizzard in the West, but the context of whom the information was for, I think, is pretty important. China didn't get Season of Discovery, so it does go both ways with one set of us getting some content whilst the other doesn't. And to be honest, these Titan Forge realms will just be raid logging with slightly different itemization and microtransactions. We all know that's what it's going to be, and
that's the main issue that I think World of Warcraft has, is raid logging. That's the thing that... Do you guys remember, like, who played BDO the first month of the game release? Who played BDO month 1? Or Lost Ark month 1? Mainly BDO. Do you remember how fucking cool that was? Whenever you'd log on and everybody would be out there fishing and people would be life skilling, and the game really felt like a modern fantasy world that you were going into. I think that one of the big mistakes that World of Warcraft made over the years, and I think that a lot of games make over the years, is that they double down on their high-frequency content, and they do so at the expense of the feel of the world. And I think if you really go back and you look at a lot of, like, how do you make the greatest MMO? I think one of the best ways to do that is you have to inform yourself of what content are people consuming in mass right now for MMO video games. Well, video games aren't part of that equation. But you know what is? Sword Art Online, Shangri-La Frontier, Solo Leveling, Konosuba, and Overlord. I can come up with more, but that's a good start. Why is it that so many isekai animes basically follow a Dungeons & Dragons MMO paradigm, but not a single video game can replicate that experience? It's because they don't understand it. They don't understand what's behind that experience. And if you listen to the developers, and that's not the correct word, the designers of Classic WoW, people like Kevin Jordan, for example, if you listen to them talk about the game, there's a level and a quality of thoughtfulness and intelligence that you just don't really hear very often inside of modern developers. Because a lot of these old developers that were MMO creators, they recognized, and they even said, you know, like, oh, this kind of came in by accident, right? It's like, and I think that that's the serendipity of genius, is that it's like what I said before, where like really great games like, you know, Super Smash Bros. Melee, there are these onion rings, or sorry, like layers to the onion, that it just gets better and better and better, and that's the reason why it's still a competitive game 25 years later, right? And I think that conversely, bad video games are just an onion of shit that just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so the point that I'm making is that a lot of these old designers understood that these video games, it was 50% game design and 50% psychology. And you can argue about the percentages all you want, but the one thing that's true for sure is that both of these things needed to be considered. And a lot of developers now focus on analytics, they focus on a, you know, philosophy that they have, or, you know, the way a boss works, or anything like that. None of these things really matter. None of these things actually make a difference at all. What really matters is if somebody is able to log into the game and feel like they're transformed into a new world, into a different universe, and into a place where they truly can have an adventure inside of. And I think that that's what a lot of the isekai animes really do, is that they give somebody a transcendent adventure that goes beyond what they've been experienced in their real life. Like, I mean, fundamentally, at the beginning of every single one of them, that's usually what happens, right? Somebody dies, they're locked into the story, or some other variation of it. If you can't deliver that experience, and that experience is not delivered inside of like Stormwind and Retail WoW, it's not delivered by Stormwind and Retail WoW, where it's effectively a glorified and very fancy with nice graphics waiting room for a menu screen. That's not a video game. Sorry, it is, but it's not an MMO. That's not a fantasy world. That's a menu. And I think that people that are looking for MMOs, and I think that there's a huge amount of people that are looking for MMOs, and another example of this, I think that kids still do want games like this. And one of the ways that I can tell that is the way that kids play Roblox. Kids play Roblox, and they play games that are not necessarily super hard games. They're not playing games that are super, like difficult necessarily. Maybe they do sometimes, but not all the time. But what I think a lot of kids seem to be getting out of Roblox is the interaction and the community that's created by the game. So in a way, Roblox has created a lot of that MMO feel outside of an MMO. And what's happening with World of Warcraft, and what's happened with a lot of MMOs, is that they focused on boss fights. They focused on challenges. They focused on FOMO. They focused on PvP. But they haven't focused on the prime user experience and the way that a person feels playing the game. They start at the conclusion rather than the beginning. And I think that that's something that Classic WoW really understood. And I think that's why it's still successful 20 years later. And I think that the best video games encapsulate that throughout history. Dark Souls 1, Elden Ring. Expedition 33 is very new, I don't want to use that as an example. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Super Mario 64. Super Smash Bros. Melee. These are games that will be transcendent video games that people will be playing in 50 years. League? Maybe original League, I don't know. All of these games have a feel to them. And there is something that goes beyond just very simply playing this game. Yeah, Bloodborne, maybe, right? I'd have to think about that. Maybe Bloodborne. And so Sekiro, yes. And the quality there, it's transcendent beyond other games.
Microtransactions appear to be way more accepted by Chinese audiences. Ian even mentions during the presentation that purchases will carry forwards to other versions of World of Warcraft. Blizzard would never mention that kind of thing for Western players.
I think that this is a fair concern that people have, that they're worried that they're focusing more on China than the United States because China is more accepting of microtransactions. Yeah, sure, probably, but I don't think it's really they don't care about the US at all.
Yeah, way too mad. Don't get me wrong, I can understand why people will look forwards to this, but I'm really looking for that World of Warcraft again, not just rotating between the relevant instance of the week with very little to care about in between.
Willie gets it. Willie understands. Very few, and this is the other problem, and remember what I said, how you needed the trifecta of designers? The problem is that a lot of very, very hardcore players want to have effectively a menu simulator. And I think that that's the problem with Retail WoW, is that Retail WoW has spent a lot of time listening to the most hardcore players inside of their community. They've listened to the dumbest and also the best players. And Retail WoW has created a player base that appeals to about 30% of the population. The top 15% and the bottom 15%.
Just a little tiny bit.
But where's the middle 70%?
Just a little tiny bit.
And I think that's the real group that's being captured by Classic WoW. And making harder raids than Max Ramus, making more difficult solo challenges in Classic WoW, making grinds that take 2 years to do. This is bullshit that's invented by people that want to turn the video game into a job. And that's where you need the insight and intelligence of designers, like people like Kevin Jordan, for example, or somebody like Miyazaki for Elden Ring or Dark Souls, that can listen to what these people are saying and then understand it, but not implement it into the game directly. Because I think that's the big problem, is that Retail WoW is effectively, made for the most hardcore audiences.
Blizzard did put out a blue post after this mini backlash as well to the news in China, where they said, "We want to clarify that everything in those polls, particularly comments about our focus, is intended for the China community specifically.
Yes.
What we are working on, be it Classic Anniversary, Burning Crusade Anniversary, Mists of Pandaria, the future of Progression Realms, or anything else we're working on in the Classic space has not changed. And to be clear, our announcements regarding our plans in China do not change that." He also referred back to a blue post that was made some time ago when Blizzard announced that they were basically going to be stopping work on Season of Discovery.
Smart.
They said here, "We have big plans and big ambitions for this type of filmed photographs content set in the original world of Azeroth. But in order to realise those ambitions, we need to make sure we're spending our time where it will make the most impact on the long-term future of WoW Classic."
Well, I think it's smart because, really, this is probably what's happened for the player base of Season of Discovery. Let me guess, it's gone like this? And the reason why is because the content for the game is based entirely around the end game. It's not based around, it's like these, harder modes of the game. It's for example, giving warriors healing, giving mages healing, stuff like this, making rogues tank. This goes against the fundamental functionality of the game. The reason why Classic WoW was really good is because every class couldn't do everything, and you did get fucked over. And you were a warrior, and tank locks, it's ridiculous. You were, rogues and tank, no, I'm serious, that's actually how it was. So you're a warrior, and you have to eat after every single pull. You're a paladin, you have to drink after every single pull. You are both functioning at 80%. But whenever you team up, now you're at 250 fucking %. He can keep attacking while you're drinking. You can drink while he's attacking, or I guess it's basically the same thing. And then he can heal you, so he doesn't have to. Sort of paladin can heal you, so you don't have to sit down and eat. And you can take on other risks. You can fight bosses, and the game, it's like 1 + 1 becomes 5. 1 + 1 becomes 3. And I think that's really the magic of a lot of Classic WoW. It's the interdependency. And it's something that I think that players, it's the first thing that they ask to be taken away, but it's the main thing that they need.
Set ourselves up for success by taking the time we need to get in the proverbial kitchen and cook, iterate on, and shape our ideas and lessons learned from Season of Discovery into something truly exciting. Season of Discovery was always meant to be an ephemeral seasonal experience, and whilst it became so much more for a time, we're extremely excited about things we're working on in the future.
There's too few people playing in order for them to justify developing and doing resources for it. That's why. That's what's going on.
You may also remember at the end of Season of Discovery, they gave all characters a free boost to Mists of Pandaria realms who had defeated the first boss in the Scarlet Enclave. This
Balthazar, isn't he a Dreadlord?
85 in the hope that they would start
It's a bad guy
for its duration, and that would be enough to tie people over until there was further announcements on what's happening with Classic Plus. And again, there are also Anniversary realms that have just gotten Phase 6, which is Nax Ramus, meaning TBC early 2026 right now is looking very likely. Blizzard are also in the spot here where they could re-release TBC Anniversary.
That tiny violin shit, man, oh my god. God, that was so fucking funny. I'm gonna go stop and he does it in Cthulhu. Oh.
On January 16th, which
wow.
would be the same day as
Judgment Day.
2007. Could definitely see them doing that. And whilst this is all great if you're enjoying either of these options, I feel as though a pretty sizable number of players, aren't. It's all well and good in the interim to pursue other interests, games, or whatever it may be, but I think for MMO players that they like the familiarity of having something to go back to now and again, and right now there just isn't anything really. It's like we're drifting in an ocean waiting for something to appear on the horizon, but we've just no clue when anything will be happening. I mean, I just want to recap everything that's going on at the moment. It feels as though Nostarius is happening all over again with the private server scene. Blizzard are actively pursuing legal action against them or cease and desist orders. You've got many classic WoW streamers who are some of your most invested players with the most invested audiences simply not playing the game and playing other things despite you releasing new games at the moment in the WoW space.
Well, I think that's really, I mean, the fact that so many of these guys have moved over to OSRS, I think it really goes to show who's doing it right. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
We are reapproaching Warlords of Draenor. This was the expansion back in the day where classic content really began to grow massively. The embers of the fire that is Classic Plus have never left, but right now the flame is as low
Yeah, the salary has happened during WoD.
It's ever been. It's no surprise people are looking elsewhere for experiences they hope to find in Classic Plus. The Blizzard are starting to take real action versus these realms, and that Classic is overall seeing some of its lowest player counts since this whole thing started in 2019.
People have done it already, and I think also things like this will come in waves. Like, I'm sure Classic WoW will probably see a new wave of excitement at some point in the future, as just, you know, as just things that happen organically, right? Same with other games. Like, this will happen with other older games where, like, people will start talking about them and playing them more, and that's just always how it goes. For YouTube's done? Yeah, I know, YouTube's done. I don't know why it'll just come back up. I'm not going to refresh it. It should be fine. So, yeah, you may actually need to play a game. No, I'll complain about Twitter. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Didn't you start streaming in WoD because it was so boring? I did. I started Warlords of Draenor was so boring that me and McConnell got bored of talking about politics in the garrison just between the two of us, and we also needed money. Primarily money. Mostly money. Actually, pretty much entirely money. And so started streaming. And that's pretty much what happened. Yeah.
Classic Plus releases, which I still think it will be doing. It won't be
we made a lot of money. It was really good. Remember $1 donated $1, and he said $1 donated $1. It's crazy to think that was like 10 years ago.
Season of Discovery took a long time before the player base stabilised. People are saying old school RuneScape is in its golden age right now. It's over a decade old. In fact, I remember old school when it first came out. I was there. It lost players quickly and had to start making custom changes to grow the game in a new direction.
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, I will say that just looking at that pizza, it looks like he did it right. Now, I usually add on a few more pepperoni. However, that is a decent amount. Usually it's 4 bites to each square, and there's 4 pepperonis. This is good optimization. Here we go. He made my $2 pizza.
The saga continues. So I was at the grocery store the other day, and I'm walking through the frozen food section, and it literally jumped out at me. Like, it was like, boom! Now, this is the wrong kind.
It is. Yeah, it's the wrong one.
The picture? Did you know that there's more than one kind of party? I sure didn't.
Yeah.
This triple meat, that's not the one that he went with. He went with the party pizza pepperoni.
Yes, that's
so, I had to go back to Walmart and get it $1.97 a piece. So,
$1.97? Where the fuck is he at? I thought they're like $2 now.
Right on. $2 now. I got the oregano.
Okay, good.
I got the Hormel pepperoni.
Yeah, that's just it. That's the standard right here.
I got the Kraft mozzarella.
Right.
So here we go.
So he's got pretty much the exact stuff. Like, he doesn't have the McCormick or oregano, but like, it doesn't really fucking matter. It's a leaf is a leaf.
His pizza. Now, just like the steak video, I'm going to make it exactly like he did.
Right.
And then I'm going to make my own low-cost pizza, which is a homemade pizza. Now, I know what you're saying. There's no way he would ever do this and make his own dough.
That's true.
But I promise you, especially if you're a gamer, you're really going to enjoy my method of making pizza dough. And you don't have to wait for it to rise in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours.
Okay.
You can just throw it right in your pan, in your oven, and cook it immediately as soon as it's
But you could just buy the pizza for $2, you know what? So like, I really just don't see why we're having this conversation. Like, so if there's a pizza for $2 and you just buy the pizza for $2, like, I mean, fuck.
Ready, so make sure you tune in for the rest of the video after I make his pizza. All right. Let's get going. But there it is. I went over to my grandma's house and I asked her, can I borrow the roaster that you make the ribs in? The old school roaster.
That's exactly right. This is exactly what we're looking for. This right here is the, I think my mom used to call it a convection oven or something like that. And this is what we used because our big oven was broken. Because my dad and I thought it would be a good idea to repair and replace the element in the oven while the oven was on. We broke it. And so the oven was broken for years until we replaced it. We got a new one eventually. I can't use it. So I just use the old one. This is the one that I know how to make pizzas on.
So I put it in the wheelbarrow. I didn't have it in the wheelbarrow, but I did.
Yeah.
And you can see that we actually use our wheelbarrow for gardening and such. Yeah, it's not a dirty wheelbarrow. There's no clothes in there, but there's dirt. So
yeah, that's about right. Looks good to me.
There we go. The oven is on the oven.
This looks authentic.
Pepperoni party pizza. And the triple meat.
I like how, by the way, he put, yeah, this is really good. The oven is on the oven. He put it directly on top of his oven. You know, I'm pretty sure we used to have that oven. I think that's the one I broke, actually.
So, close enough.
Yeah, we used to have that one. That's the one I broke, right there. There it is. I broke that oven.
Alright, there we go. The oven is on the oven. We're going to make both
That's actually crazy.
pepperoni party pizza and the triple meat because I'm actually curious what the meat to cheese to bread ratio is on both. But we're going to start with this.
It's because the sausages taste like shit. Okay, looks good.
Now,
that's delicious.
Judging by the picture, I'm disappointed.
No, you don't have to be. See, this is exactly, and I know what he's saying. He's saying because, like, they act like there's a lot of pepperoni on there, and there's actually not. That's true. That's why you get triple pepperoni.
And I can see why he would add his own pepperoni.
Yeah,
because
they cheap out on it. It's a joke.
Let's do that again. Where are they? I see not that many, but that's
well, I wanted to go to the fucking grocery store and buy 10 of the normal ones, and then buy 10 of the triple pepperoni ones, and then pull the pepperonis off of each one and see if it's actually triple pepperoni. Because I don't think it is. I think it's like 1.5x. There's no way it's a 3x.
Oh, we had a $5 bag of pepperoni. Yes, $5.59 for this whole bag. Now you don't use the whole thing, so that's not going to add to the price that much. But on first,
10
average.
It's looking pretty good.
Okay, oregano on.
Cheese, yeah.
He hates cheese people. So let's make sure that we don't.
Well, we don't want to have. It's not that I hate cheese people, but like, I've never. This might upset some people. I've never seen a person who eats cheese just by itself who wasn't a fat ass. Ultimate cheeseburger? Yeah, I think this is for, that's just how it is. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's just what it is.
Too much cheese. I'm a cheese person, and I bet if we met that we'd probably get along. That's just my guess. There we go. That looks like a good amount of cheese for
You can like cheese and not eat it by itself.
Because if I were a piece of cheese, I would eat myself. Hopefully there's no gray pepperonis in here. Let's bomb this city.
It actually turned green. Yeah, they turn green, and then like the side of the the package turns gray. It's kind of like a weird thing. I've had this happen like many times.
We bombed this city. I really love pepperoni. I was just on vacation. We had this conversation about pepperoni pizzas. Nobody wants just a pepperoni pizza.
I do.
At least this was the discussion at the beach. So nobody wants just a pepperoni pizza, but everybody orders just a pepperoni pizza because everyone thinks that everyone will eat just a pepperoni pizza.
They will.
I'm not sure where the conversation ended, but that's pretty much it. Right.
How many times y'all ever had a pizza party at work or like fucking school or something like that, and they order a cheese pizza and there's like pepperoni pizza and like a sausage pizza? Nobody eats, like there's always leftover cheese pizza, there's always leftover sausage pizza, there's never leftover pepperoni pizza. Every fucking time.
All right, now that is a masterpiece. If I say so myself.
Nah, it looks really good. That's
oven
amazing.
on the oven to 400.
I don't even know what to
Okay, so I'm gonna plug it in. I had to move the oven onto the countertop because the cord is on this side and the plug is over there, and the plug's not long enough. So there we go. Plugged in. Should we discuss the cobwebs? I'm not gonna put cobwebs on mine because this daddy ain't gonna eat any cobwebs.
No, the thing is, like, look, I didn't even have, I didn't really eat the cobwebs. They were just on, guys, look, they were just on the grate. Like, that's all, it's not like I was eating them. It's not like I put them on like it was flavor. It wasn't seasoning, it just happened to be there.
No matter how good they taste. Now this may affect the final product, seeing as how I'm putting tinfoil on the bottom, because this is my grandma's. And if you got a grandma and she's a big cooker, like an Italian one like mine, and I were to get burnt pizza crust on the bottom of this, you know what my fate would be. You'd never see me again. So
what would be the problem with the pizza? Because I mean, you're not eating it off. You're not eating it. Like, what's the problem? I don't know. I mean, I never put that shit underneath the dirt on the stove. You don't eat it. Don't eat the dirt. What are you doing eating dirt?
I'm putting foil on the bottom, but he cooks it for an hour, so it's gonna be fine. All right?
Yeah.
We've got one pizza in. All right. There's even less meat on this.
See, they fuck you, don't they? They fuck you. See, it used to never be like this. By the way. Let me show you something. See, back in the fucking day, I'll show you this. Back in the fucking day, it used to be a bigger pizza. Look, see, it used to be circular. It was way bigger. Way fucking bigger. And then just eventually, they just shrunk it down, and they took the Wendy's route, and they made it a square. They were way bigger, man. Look how much bigger this pizza was. Look how much more pepperoni this was. You see that? You see how many pepperonis that was? Look at this. This is what it used to be. It's cheaper though? No, it's not. These used to be literally, who remembers, 89 cents. 89 motherfucking cents. And that was less than 10 years ago. Look at this. Look how big this was. Absolutely massive. And then now you have this. So look at this. See, it doesn't even fucking fit. And then back in the day, you had this. It would fit on the entire plate. See, they think they're fucking pulling some geometry shit. I can tell immediately what's happening. I could see immediately that we were getting fucked. Alright, let's try to catch an animal and turn it into a pizza and eat it? Okay, sure. So the rat got in there and it died. And so I was like, man, this smells really bad. We've got to deal with this problem with the dead rat in that room. So I closed the door. I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock. Whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat, and then the smell would wake me up. And I stabbed the rat. So anyway, I go back, this is like 5 or 6 years later, I'm going to clean up this room.
That sounds a great idea. We'll see what animals Maya has, and maybe we'll try to get one of those. Inflation's a bitch? Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god.
And now this one also has sausage, Canadian-style bacon. Ooh, we talked about that. Ground pork and pepperoni, seasoned pork, chicken, and beef pizza. We're going to add our oregano.
Chicken and beef.
Kraft mozzarella. I had a tendency to go overdo it, so I gotta stop myself.
That's fine.
Pepperoni in the oven.
Looks very good.
And look at that. Oh, shit. Ooh, that's hot. Wow. We've got two pizzas in our oven top oven.
Yeah, a little fun fact is like if you if you're on the struggle bus, if you get one of these ovens, it'll save you a lot in electricity, I'm pretty sure. And it also is like really cheap. Like you get one of these things for like $40 now. Rather than like spending like $400 or like 200, I mean, probably like, how much is an oven now? Like I don't even know. How much is I think it's like $400, right? Like I know it's $2K at Home Depot, but I'm talking about like some fucking. It's $400, like in 4 hours. So yeah, it's like $400 or $500 then. Like, and that's a piece of shit, but it works.
Close the lid for an hour. What you're going to need for this no-rise pizza dough is 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour also. 2 1/4 teaspoons
Doesn't it find that in the White House?
Yeast, which usually equates to about 1 package of this kind of stuff, okay? You just want like 1 package, just toss it in there, but measure it if you want to. You want
put sand in there.
Of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And 3/4 cup of warm water, about 110 degrees. If you don't have a warm water,
why the hell would you want warm water?
or anything fancy like that, don't worry, just run your warm water under your finger. You don't want it to burn your finger, okay? That's way too hot. You just want it to basically feel like you don't feel any heat at all or any cold at all. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna take all those dry ingredients, take a whisk or a fork or a spoon, I don't care what it is, or use your mixer if you want, and just mix it all up. And while you're mixing it, start to think about all the game developers that have done you wrong in the past. Just start building.
So he really wants you to put a lot of work into it, a lot of energy. Basically, like beat the shit out of this yeast.
That modern warfare style anger, just mix away and let your anger build, okay? Because we're going to use that anger pretty quickly here. After you've got your dry ingredients mixed up fairly well, you just want to basically create like a little well in the middle, okay? And now you're going to take your olive oil, put it right in the center, and then you're going to take 3/4 of a cup of your warm water and mix that in there. I'd recommend like a spatula like this one. And just mix it, and we just want to make like a shaggy dough once all this stuff is incorporated. Then we're going to let all of our anger out. You may have to dig in there with your hands, no big deal. Your hands are clean, we know this. Ooh, it's nice and warm.
Oh, yeah, true.
Satisfying. See, you'll find when you start doing this that this is actually more satisfying than you think. If you need to add more wet. Like, I actually think we may need to add a little bit more warm water. A little touch of all of
Yeah, there's not enough liquid.
A dab of water. Okay, a little bit goes a long way at this point.
So I guess like the I guess like the benchmark is like making sure that all of the flour is stuck to the main thing.
Anger is building. Really starting to get angry at Bungie at this point.
Oh yeah, because they ruined,
A little bit of flour. Plop it on that flour.
Right.
Get mad. Let out that.
Fucking artifact weapons.
Just want to hold.
Random drop Legion legendaries.
Activision. Bungie, give me every ounce of silver.
Fucking Smilegate Lost Ark ruined it.
Willingly gave to you.
AGS wouldn't listen to me during New World. They fucked up the game.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Starting to feel good. You gotta give this a try.
Ooh, Dark Souls 2.
It's starting to really soften up. Now, we don't want to make our dough too hard, and I think that is good, okay? One more smack for Bungie for good measure. Okay, there we go.
Uber unique.
There's our dough. Okay, now this is a cast iron pan. We're going to take...
why do people have cast iron? What's the difference? Why do people have cast iron? That's heavy? See, like... Y'all want to know, like, maybe, like, a weird thing for me? Is, like, any pan that's, like, non-stick, I don't want to cook off of it, because I feel like it's chemicals. It's, like, I don't think it's normal. It's not natural. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, like... Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not down. Other way around. Cast iron is the most natural. Maybe I should get one of these then. Yeah, actually I should. That's a good idea. Straight fucking iron. So that way you're making it the way that, like, dwarves used to make it back in the Middle Ages.
About a tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to put it in our cast iron pan, maybe 2, because what we want to make here is kind of like a Detroit-style pizza, where this is a pan-style.
Aren't the Detroit-style pizzas the really thick ones that burn your mouth whenever you bite into them? Yeah, I have those.
But the olive oil will creep up the sides and underneath the dough and make like a fried dough underneath, okay? And now we're going to take our dough and pop it right in the middle there, okay? Just spread that oil around. We're just going to use our knuckles and just form our pizza into here. Let that crust creep up the side. Now, like I said, this isn't a fancy pizza. We're not using a rolling pin. We're not throwing our dough up in the air and spinning around all fancy-like. We're just smashing dough into a cast iron pan. Yeah, so we're going to make kind of like a deep dish cinch here. Okay, now just take a towel and cover it up and just let it sit there for 10 minutes. Now, in the meantime, let's check on the Asmongold pizza. It's been 25 minutes.
Is that so the yeast can have, like, the chemical reaction? I'm assuming it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting there, but it's not ready.
Okay, now I'm going to cook my pizza on my grill, so I'm using a pellet grill that I can just set to 450 degrees, but if you're going to use your oven, just set it to 450 degrees, let it preheat for these 10 minutes while our dough rests. I'm using a grill because it's my pizza, and I love grilled pizza. Now this dough, you should also know, is not a high heat style dough. If you're going to use a fancy pizza oven, like my Wildfire grill, or like an Uni or a Ghazni or one of those things that cooks at like 700, 800, maybe even 1,000 degrees like the Wildfire does, this is not the dough for that kind of pizza. This kind of dough will just burn right up because of the amount of olive oil that's in it. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. There's our dough. Time to add our toppings. Now, this is a local brand to where I live, Stanganelli's. You can probably buy it online. I like their Sicilian sauce for my pizzas.
Okay.
I'd probably say 3 spoonfuls. We'll add more.
I feel like that sauce is a little bit watery. I guess that might be different. Usually whenever I see sauce like that, it's much thicker.
Oh yeah, this is looking good.
It's natural, yeah, I don't know.
Olive oil in there too, so we don't want to make too much of a soggy bottom here. Now I'm going to use the same mozzarella in the middle, and if you have watched many of my videos, you know that I'm a double cheese kind of guy. Like, I would Anytime I order a pizza, I order it with double cheese. No different here. Now we're going to take Jack cheese. Now Jack is much lower moisture, and we're going to stuff it on top of this crust here. Blow that around, piled on top of that crust. Now as it cooks, it's going to melt. The olive oil is going to sneak up the side of the pan and fry that cheese into the crust. And we're going to get a slightly charred up fried cheese.
That's smart.
Crusty crust. Just a dab of Italian seasoning, and I like it above the cheese because I like the visual of those particles of yum on the pizza. Just like him, we want total coverage.
Yeah.
And one.
Olive
oil. And we're just going to drizzle it right over the edge, just to add a little bit more pizzazz. There we go. There we go. Oh God. Okay.
That's ready. You can tell that it's ready because it's burned.
Honestly, after an hour, I expected it to be totally and utterly charred up. That is not.
No, it's not, because you have to. The way you do it is you cook it at a lower temperature, because like this is the reason why I have it to where I cook it for a long period of time. Is that like I will go upstairs and I will forget about the pizza. Like there's never been a time that I've made a pizza and I've remembered that I was making a pizza. So I cook it on a lower temperature, so there's a larger window of fuck up radius where like I can fuck up and it's like, you messed up the pizza. It's not a big deal, right? Because you've got like a 10-minute window rather than like a 5-minute window. I've cooked black pizzas before. I remember like the first time Izzy came to visit and she was staying here, we actually, I thought, you know what? We got, it's a girl living at the house. We're going to get her a nice pizza. And so I got a new pizza and I cooked it in the oven. Bro, I burnt the fuck out of that shit. I think you can only eat like one piece. She was pissed. Yeah, black pizza. There it is.
But maybe there's a trick with this oven being that it's more for like a slow cooker oven, even though it's at 400 degrees. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Let's pull it out.
It's delicious. It's amazing. Oh my God, that's so good.
This is the pepperoni. This is the triple meat.
Like, look at that. Wow. That is
cool for just a minute. And that's a fucking pizza without slicing internal organs on our torso. While this piece is cooling, let's put ours on the grill.
So you wait what? Wait, hold on, what?
Close that door.
What the fuck?
There we are.
Are you kidding me?
Go to sleep for 15 minutes. Ooh. There it is.
That is fucking delicious. Look at that. That's amazing.
The Yasmin Gold $2 pizza. A little trick when you're cutting your pizza, start from the center so you don't destroy that beautiful caramelized crust.
I don't even crust.
Oh yeah, that is nice and crunchy. There we go. 4 equal pieces of pepperoni. Okay, bottoms up.
Here we go.
Not bad.
I know. See, that's the funniest thing, is that the only person who said the pizza was bad, I want y'all to keep this in mind. The only people that said it was bad was Peach Jars and Jessica Negri, after Mizkif intentionally made my pizza bad to make himself look good on his video, to show off. Because he put more butter on that pizza than you're supposed to eat in an entire year. Or no, that was a steak. That's right, yeah, it was a steak, not pizza. What was I thinking? Yeah, steak. That shit made me so mad.
It's not bad at all. It's a little on the chewy side. It is. Whether it's genius or an accident, cooking in that other oven in the roaster may be the best way to do a pizza like this.
That's because it cooks it, like, I feel like this is what happens, right? Is like if you cook it at a higher temperature, in like a normal oven, what ends up happening is that the outsides get overcooked and the insides get undercooked. And that's why, I think cooking it in the smaller oven is just simply better, because you can cook it at a lower temperature and then make sure that the entire coverage of the pizza is equal.
Oh, you tell me in the comments. We might be onto something here. And I'm going to have to explore more
it's really
into the science of the roaster with pizzas. Maybe with some other foods.
Delicious.
Not bad at all. Let's try this other pizza. Also, not bad. Even this, like, warty looking burnt part.
Don't eat that part. I would not even eat that. Break that off.
I'm a believer, people. You know when you get homemade lasagna and you get the burnt part of the noodle on the corners? If you know, you know. Kind of reminded me of that. $4. I mean, that's pretty much what he has into this pizza. Yeah. I wonder what the longest period of time that he ever cooked one and when he forgot it is.
So about 2 hours. And what happened is that we had, 2 hours. So what happened is that this was not, the black one that I have is not the first one. My mom had one from like the 80s that we were using until we replaced it. And the oven was so bad that like at the time that it was like kind of, it was like a 30-year-old like, portable oven like that. And we got rid of it and we had to get the new one because it stopped working. But I was able to turn it up all the way and it could just barely cook the pizza, but it took 2 hours.
Let's see how this baby's doing.
All right,
let's see. About 15 to 16 minutes, somewhere around there. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
I'm gonna be real, I would have put way more pepperoni on that shit, because like, I would want to have more pepperoni on the edge.
See, our crust has really risen up. Now, if I would have used a larger pan, I probably would have gotten a little bit more even distribution of my
I feel like also, like, I bet if you put bacon bits on that, it would be really good. You know, like the ones that you get in the refrigerator and shit, I bet you could probably put that on there, and if you do it on the grill, that'd be good as fuck.
But let's check and see how. All right, we've got a ways to go on our crust, so let's give it another 10 minutes.
Yeah, it hasn't like fully. I think that the way that you tell if it's like ready is if it separates from the edge, right? Separates from the edge of the pan.
Or just see the fried cheese along this side. Take a couple colors, one on each side.
Okay. Yep, there it is.
And carefully, whip it right out of the pan. I would have liked it a little crispier, but that's okay. Now, another thing I'd like to do is just take a little bit of garlic powder.
Yeah, like if it was me making this pizza, what I would have done is that after I put the tomato sauce on, I would have put a layer of pepperonis on the tomato sauce, and then I would have put the cheese on, and then I would have put another layer of pepperonis on the on top of the cheese. Like I think that's the that's like whenever I've ever had double deep dish pizza, that's usually how they do it.
You can use garlic salt if you like. A light, and by light I mean really light, dusting of garlic powder up top. Okay. We're gonna let it rest just like we would a steak. Put the microphone right up to this.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Just in the middle so you don't ruin your crust. Oh my god, the smell of this is so good. There we are. Roughly around $6.50 to $7 in total ingredients.
That's pretty good.
My god. Alright, look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey, remember how I was talking about those particles of yum? I'd like to see that. Okay, let's try the fried cheese crust side. It's just another level of pizza. Not that his was bad, because obviously it wasn't. I was quite impressed with it. That's easy. That's an easy, cheap, homemade pizza. I did end up cooking the pizza 10 minutes longer than I anticipated. Depending on your pan, depending on your oven, depending on the dough that you make, like if you might add some different ingredients.
I have a grill. I could do that. I could do that pizza.
And temperature from there, but I wouldn't go above 450. 450 was perfect, it seems. And the amount of time that he cooks his pizza for an hour in his roaster.
I have a charcoal grill.
Make mine and cook mine in under an hour.
So I have to like.
Give it a
manage
You want
it
me
a
to
different way.
come to Austin and cook for the whole OTK crew? Wouldn't that be fun? I'm rambling. What did I think? It's great.
That would be
What do I have to
crazy.
say about this? I don't know. I'm sweating.
I think you know what I should do?
It's hot. Probably hotter.
I should try to
That's
make
it.
this
Let me
pizza
know what you
myself.
think. Hit me up in the comments. As always,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that way you get the full experience. See this right here? This is how you should eat my pizzas. Just like that. What's he watching? Just like some 90s anime. Hentai? I actually do have, yes. The answer is yes. I do have a... Dude, this music is so extra. Like, it's just like... Bro, this is like the music that you play after you rescue people off of, like, their fucking lifeboats in the Titanic. And you're fucking, you know, bringing them back on the shore, you know, like getting them dried off. And like, yeah, they play it at the very end. So, I'll say this. There's a big part of me that wants to actually go and try to make that pizza. I want to try to make that pizza exactly the way that he did it and see what it's like. Because I could do that. Like, I have the fucking pot, or the pan for it, excuse me, I have one of those cast iron pans. I have the grill. Now, I can't maintain it at 450 degrees, so that would be problematic. And I could get, obviously, like, all the other ingredients. That'd be no big deal. And, you know, I think that'd be a good idea. Too much work, bro? Not really. It's like an hour. I don't think it's a big deal. Add the bacon bits. No, I would do it exactly the way that he did it. And then maybe if that was good, I would try to do it my own way. Because, like, if it was me, this is what I would do differently, right? Is that I would do another layer of pepperoni on the very outside. And then I would also do a... because, like, obviously, and here's the reason, right, is that... Okay, so basically, you have the same amount of pepperonis, but, like, you're going to be eating it in more bites because the pizza is thicker and there's a lot more to it. So, you want to have pepperoni in every bite, and so I would add in more pepperoni for that reason. I'd also put pepperoni between the tomato sauce and the cheese, and then I would have a second layer above the cheese. And then I would put the bacon bits on top of the pepperoni. That's what I would do. The only problem is that, like, maybe I wouldn't be able to do that, though. Because if I put the bacon bits on top of the pepperoni, they might be too exposed to the heat. And because of that, they would just get cooked so much that they would lose all of their flavor and they'd be too hard. So maybe I'd have to put them underneath the pepperoni. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But, yeah, they would burn. Yeah, I think I'd have to do that. No, this video is fucking amazing. Like, I'm so glad. Like, after watching the fucking Mizkif video, I'm so glad that he actually did it right.
There's a trick.
Like, he actually did the right pizza. Because it's so easy, right? It's so fucking easy, but nobody can figure it out. Yeah, there it is. Those were so good. I'll give you guys the video. This guy also did a review of my steak. Make sure to give it a like. This video is amazing. Yeah, there you go. He did your steak right, too? Yeah, exactly. To collab with him, do a cooking show? I'd be down maybe for something like that, but I think the first thing I should do is try to cook one of these things myself. Because he also made a different type of steak than I did. And I would be willing to do that, too. Pick up on a chef offer? Yeah, let's see what happens. Dude. Hey. Should grab the WoW cookbook and do cooking streams with it? Me and Train and S-Fan did that back in the day. Pizza Hut would have one like that. It's like $1,000. You want to make one at 20, right? But it's pretty good. Yeah. Try and make your own burrito. Oh, I know how to make burritos. That's no big deal. My mom would make me burritos back in the day. These are the foods that I can make. Okay? Steak, pizza, corned beef hash,
Drop zone's coming up. Enemy shooters closing on target area. Don't let any of them get out of there alive. I'll send updates as needed.
Eggs, no reason to make eggs. You don't need those. Spaghetti, no. Cereal, no. Mac and cheese, no. Sandwich, yeah, I can make, strawberry sandwich. Lasagna, no. No chicken. Why would I make chicken? We have KFC. Why would I do that? Like, how can you improve on perfection? You have KFC. Like, why would you do that? Salmon? No, I can't make salmon. Bacon? I could probably make bacon, although I would probably struggle a little bit with it. But I know how to make bacon. I can actually make beef jerky, too. Yeah. Make tacos next. No, next one I want to make is the corned beef hash, and then it's going to be pizza. Then it's going to be tacos, and then I might do beef jerky after that. Quesadilla? Oh, bro, I had a quesadilla today. Yeah, a quesadilla today. Actually, no, that's the quesadilla from 2 days ago. The quesadilla from today is down there. It's on the floor. Nothing healthy? I think beef jerky is very healthy. I think steak is very healthy. Pizza is healthy. Tacos are healthy. Yeah, all of these things are very healthy. What do you mean? What's so funny? Like, look, is beef jerky healthy? Beef jerky is an easy on-the-go snack that packs high protein, zinc, and concentration. These nutrients are essential for overall health. There it is. Sodium? Just don't eat it. Don't eat as much sodium. There's a lot of sodium. Is beef jerky good for you? Those lean cuts, yeah, always. Being a good source of lean protein, beef jerky is rich in iron, folate, calcium, vitamins. Look at all this stuff. It's fucking amazing. People are dumb as fuck. Of course it's good for you. Beef jerky is delicious. I would be willing to make like teriyaki beef jerky, something like that. Yeah, I could do that. It's so fucking hot here in Texas, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't even have to cook it. Straight up, I don't even think I would need to. I'm pretty sure I could just leave it in my fucking grill and it would cook itself. Like, let me see how many temperature it is. Here, let me read you the 7-day forecast. 105. 105. 103. 103. 103. 103. And then the last one, 104. These are freedom units, not socialist Celsius. It's about 40 Celsius, 4 days a week. It's fucking hot, man. Jerky tame the West? Yeah, bro, like cowboys, bro. Like literal cowboys, like tame the fucking West. Bro, Manifest Destiny was enabled by beef jerky. You want to talk about how beef jerky isn't healthy? The fuck out of here. Fuck you. Let's just get fire stuff right now. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not even going to worry about it, honestly. No, what? That could happen? Well, I don't have any cheese. Oh, that's huge. Oh, that's big. Okay, double microwave. Can we kill this guy? Break pots for gold? Yes. Okay. I needed that. That was really important for me. We're just gonna do this now. I think we just go with the gun, right? It's not as good as Banano, but I think we go with the gun. Try the bow? No. Everybody wants me to try the bow. I really don't think I should use the bow. No. Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. It's just the wrong decision. Why would I do that? It's the wrong decision. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to make any mistakes. Movement speed. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, bro. Like I don't need people to tell me what to do because I know what to do. Okay, I've already got all my stuff set up. Yeah, it's over. I already won. Yeah, I already won, guys. It's over. And now we're gonna buy the ball. And see, now I've got this. This is gonna help me out a lot. What's this? Oh, it's a shrine. Where's the guys? Oh. Now I just noticed. Yeah, exactly. I need cheese. I didn't find any bonus shrines. It's kind of a mistake. I need to find every single boss shrine right now. Let's go. Who's this loser? I gotta get that. I gotta get that. I'm gonna get that. I gotta get it. I have to get that. I've gotta get it. Let me get it. I gotta get that. Okay, movement speed. I need it. Cheese. Where is my cheese? I shouldn't have done that one. That was a mistake. Tactical error. Also known as a fuck up. Okay. Okay, let's get this. Okay, both of those over there after this. Shield, projectile speed. I guess. I'm gonna do bone. This is me right here. See that? This is what peak performance looks like. Dude. This is so dumb.